Welcome back to the Nesiva Shalom on all Parsha for Parshas Bereishis Tavshin Pei Vav. The learning that we share tonight and throughout the year should be Lilu Nishmaso of our great leader Rabbi Hauer, the leader of the Orthodox Union, which is the achsanya of our shir, the achsanya of so many amazing things. All of Klal Yisrael is pained by his loss because of the example that he said about which we'll speak a little bit tonight. The Torah begins with the word Bereishis. And that word requires explanation because grammatically it doesn't make any sense. And so the Rebbe brings the Tikkunei HaZohar and other Svarim HaKadoshim that say that the word Bereishis means Beis Reishis, two at the beginning. But what does that phrase mean, two at the beginning? The Rebbe says that creation itself is always in pairs. We know that indeed all of creation is driven by Zachar and Nekeva, by two coming together to be creative. All of what we see in our lives is in forms of pairs. Our eyes, our ears, even our nostrils, legs and arms. The totality of creation is in pairs. And so the first pair, Beis Reishis, the Rebbe says, is Ava and Yira. This is a topic that the Rebbe speaks about in many, many places, Parshas Vayechi, other places, Parshas Bechukosai. And he repeatedly shares with us the idea that is so central to Jewish life. Indeed, as we explain it, we'll see why it belongs right at the very beginning of the Torah. Because Ava and Yira come together to create the full service of Hashem. Ava, love, brings two things close to one another. Yira, fear and reverence, bring two things away from one another. And so in a sense, we might think that they are soisrim zeh, they come in contradiction. Is the relationship with Hashem, is the relationship with how we're supposed to live one of love and emotionality, or is it one of being careful and one of fear? And so the Rebbe says that it's very much like a pot and its cover. They're absolutely come together. And that is because the Shleimus HaAvodos Hashem, we see repeatedly throughout the Torah, is through Ava and Yira together. The first of the Aseres there was Anochi, comes together with Lo Yiyeh. It's the paradigm of I am Hashem together with the paradigm of do not have ascribed divinity to anything else. That means that there's a concept called mitzvahs aseh and mitzvahs los aseh, positive commands and prohibitions, that they form the reality of the service of Hashem as one thing. By the way, this is true about every relationship, and the Rebbe explained this in Vayechi about Ephraim and Menashe, that this is true about every relationship. Every relationship is one of do the right things and don't do the wrong things. This is expressed in Tehillim, Sur Me'irav Ha'aseh Tov. This is expressed in the mitzvahs of Shabbos. Zachar, perform the positive commands of Shabbos, celebrate the Shabbos, and Shamor, be careful not to do that which is prohibited on Shabbos. So we see this time and time and time again. Love and fear. Kabed asavicha, ishimo v'aviv tiro. So here the Rebbe's Mechadish, based on the Tikkunei HaZohar, that's the very beginning of the Torah itself. Beis Reishis. Let's right from the beginning explain that there's two elements here. There's the proper service of Hashem, and the connection to who we could be is only possible through living with emotionality and intensity and love and affection and doing what we should do properly and making sure we don't do what we should not do. Indeed, actually, when we do what we're supposed to do, we should do it with love and affection, with intensity and with vigor, and also with care. And so right from the beginning, Beis Reishis is Ava and Yira, and that's why there's often the phrase in the L'Shem Yichud that someone says before performing mitzvos, B'dechilu u'rechimu, which means this same notion of with fear and with compassion. That is the proper service of Hashem. And so we're not asking a big kasha and offering a big teretz tonight. We're just explaining that the very first word of the Chumash is to inspire us to serve Hashem properly, with love, with compassion, and with discipline. And that makes the life of a tzaddik. It's not my place to properly bring divrei hesped about Rabbi Hauer Zecher Tzaddik Livracha. But I can offer a few words as I was privileged to interact with him many times, especially in the context, first of all, in my years in Baltimore, and in the example that he set for every Rav across the globe of what it means to be a shul rabbi. But also in our wonderful interactions in the OU, where he brought us together, Rabbanim from around the country, to be connected to him, to think together about how we could impact Klal Yisrael properly. It's not very well known, but he invested a tremendous amount in rabbis much younger than he, in rabbis from the New York area, from other major centers, and in rabbis in communities like ours that's much smaller. He was an example to every one of us of real avodas Hashem, b'dechilu urechimu, with a sense of love and affection that permeated the way that he carried himself and the way that he davened and the way that he learned and the way that he shared Torah and everything about him and the way he treated others, and with a sense of discipline and dignity, the magnificent humility that was an awareness that we stand in the presence of Hashem and no person should be think of himself as so much chas v'shalom, as greater than others, or as an example of haughtiness or raised voices. It was a great privilege to learn from him, and his legacy continues for all of us. Right there in the first words of the Chumash, Bereishis, thank you for the opportunity to share Divrei Torah from the Rebbe, the Nesiv Shalom Zecher Tzadik Livracha, through this venue that reaches so many people. This venue that was an example of the great advancements of the OU, and through it, all of Klal Yisrael over the years of his leadership. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless the Mishpacha with tremendous nechama as possible, knowing the impact that Rabbi Hauer had on all of us. And in these first words, this first word of the Chumash, every one of us should dedicate ourselves to a life of Ava and Yira and service of Hashem. We're looking forward to another year of great learning together. Have a great Shabbos.